All right, welcome back to 10 Minute Tuesday, guys. This week, we are dying laughing at your comments about Carter, but also we want to talk a little bit about, we got a great submission. Do you know who sent it in?
No.
Of course you do. Of course not.
Why would
Carter
I
will find it.
Why do
Carter
I
will find
remember that name? I don't have it pulled up.
It was submitted by Michael Tigani on Instagram.
Okay, you for sure butchered that last name.
It looks like it.
Tigani.
Michael
Tigani.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
So-
and your submission said, please give us some advice on what gear we can skimp on and what gear we can't skimp on in this week's 10 Minute Tuesday. And that is a great one.
And before we get into it, this 10 Minute Tuesday is brought to you by Onyx Hunt, and you can get our discount code using MWF20 for 20% off your Onyx membership. All right, Joey, why don't you tell us, can you give us like 2 things you wouldn't skimp on and 2 things you would skimp on?
I'd say the number one thing that I wouldn't skimp on at this point in my life is a good pair of waders, because I water hunt so much, especially after wearing the First Light waders for a couple of years. Like the difference in like how many holes I get and how much money I'm actually spending throughout the years is insane. When I first started doing the whole breathable thing, they were $250 at Cabela's.
You were buying 2 to 3 pairs a year.
I was buying for sure 2 pairs a year.
Yep.
Like, no doubt.
Yep.
Like, not like, oh, this one's rolling into the next year.
Oh, I know.
If that one rolled into the next year, because I bought it in November, I would still buy 2 new pairs the following year.
You would go hunting with Joey, and it'd be like a month into season, and he'd be pulling a pair of waders out of a box. You're like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I put a hole in my other waders.
Yeah, but it's not like a pinhole. This is a real hole.
A real hole.
Real
Okay.
hole.
All right.
That's my number one. Now
Yeah.
you go.
Okay. Number one thing that I would skimp on personally would probably be, did you say something you wouldn't skimp on? Okay, I'll say something I would not skimp on. I was going to say clothing. So in general, like your jacket, like especially if we're just going to get down to brass tacks, your outer layer and whatever you're wearing next to your body. So I would say the outer layer and your inner layer. You know, anything you do to like beef up warmth, you could probably skimp on that. But you need something waterproof, because being waterproof will be a huge benefit to you. And I would say now, having worn like merino wool next to skin, it makes a massive, massive difference in how warm you are. So I would not skimp on your base layer and your outer layer.
Yeah, I would absolutely have to agree on that. No, that shit is incredible. After wearing wool,
Yeah.
I would never hunt without wool now, honestly.
Okay, so we both have one thing we would not skimp on. Do you want to do one thing each we would skimp on?
Yeah, I think what's pretty interesting that I think a lot of people say not to do is I think you can skimp on guns. You know, I'm just not the guy to skimp on a gun. And let me just clarify this. I know guys that bought a $300 shotgun and clean it after every hunt, and they keep that thing minty and pristine. I am not that guy, you know? And seeing so many of my friends do that for so many years, I'm just waiting for this piece of shit to break down, and they don't.
Yep.
I'm like, wow. But also, they're not hanging out with everybody after the hunt. They're in there lubing,
Cleaning their gun right away.
cleaning, wiping it down, getting all the moisture off. It's like they have a freaking dehumidifier in their gun case. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, like, is that really worth not paying an extra $700 to $1,000?
Yeah.
I would rather just beat the shit out of my equipment and never worry about it.
I think
That's my thing.
It's probably just being realistic with yourself. Are you going to be a guy who's going to clean your gun every time? Also, the reality
Most
is
waterfowlers are not.
I mean, like a Weatherby Sorex, which I think is a gun you can beat up pretty good, in my personal experience, is a $1,500, $1,600 gun. So I think that in some sense you're right. I do think it just depends on the feel, like, of your gun, you know, like what works for you. But yes, most people are not going to clean their gun after every single hunt. But if you did immediately and you kept that thing pristine, yeah, man, like a Remington 870 will shoot for years and years. I mean, I know people with them that are 40, 50 years old.
Well, that's a bad comparison. I was thinking more of like a TriStar.
Ooh.
just like a bad one. The 870 is tried and true. You don't have to clean that thing for 15 years. Yeah, you don't have to clean that thing for 15 years.
Oh, you got to clean them. More than you clean your Weatherbees.
Hell no. I don't know. Sure. It's just that's one of those guns that just is an anomaly.
Sure.
Honestly. But like a TriStar or Gavin. What's another really crappy gun that's
Charles Daly?
Wow,
I've never even
haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do me a favor.
I did not see that one coming.
Hand Gavi the mic here.
Okay.
Gear guy.
No, yeah, come on,
Gear
dude.
Guy.
Come on, dude. Do 10 minutes
Gear
Tuesday.
guy.
Come on, dude. Here's the thing. What is he gonna do? Stand here?
All right. What are you asking me?
What is some gear that you can't skimp on? Like that you should absolutely spend the money on, or something that you don't need to spend the money on?
So one thing I won't skimp on and one thing I will.
Yeah.
I'll skimp on base layers. I won't skip on outer layers.
Okay.
I for sure don't want a wet ass or wet shoulders, but I'll wear fucking anything as a base layer. I'd wear this
cotton t-shirt.
Yeah, cotton t-shirt, this synthetic, whatever. As long as I ain't wet, like bibs, you ain't never gonna see me in the blind with Carhartts.
Yeah.
All those guys that are wearing Carhartt bibs are idiots. I'm good. I like a dry ass.
True.
Yeah, we're just gonna shoot shots across the bow. I'd rather. Base layers are huge. Don't get me wrong, but like I'd give up a base layer to be dry. So my outer layer to me matters way more.
Yeah, Cal's was more broad in saying like how you dress is super important. He won't skimp on how he dresses. Like waterproof and base layers. That's his big thing. And like with us wearing First Light, the base layers are incredible.
Base layers are incredible. I generally will skimp on. Like I won't skimp on the layering system, but
1,000% right.
I will skimp on what's underneath.
If you're dry, windproof, waterproof, you're good.
Like the First Light's got that. What's the jacket you gave me when we went out to the cabin? Is that their wading jacket?
Yeah.
Yeah, the wading jacket. I had this sweatshirt on underneath, and I had that over the top. I'm in a t-shirt, a synthetic, cheap sweatshirt, but I'm windproof and waterproof. I'm warm.
And it's insulated.
It's like
yeah.
all the answers there.
Now, what's one thing you would skimp on?
Base layers.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, so base layers I'd skimp on. I won't skimp on outer layers. I won't skimp on a gun, and I don't agree with, and I've been very vocal, I don't agree with your mentality of cleaning a firearm. That's insanity to me.
One thing that I would skimp on, and it depends on where you're at, right? And depends on what you're doing. But I do think there's a way that you can at least make it affordable to buy more decoys, okay? And it really, again, it's all stages. If you get to a place where you have enough decoys and you want to upgrade your spread and keep upgrading, then you should do that. Because, I have seen a difference. I mean, like DSD Aces, like it's a different deal. It is different.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think when you're starting out, like don't feel like you need to go out and buy brand new decoys. You can find tons of used decoys on Facebook Marketplace. I think in terms of just like building your first spread, I do think you can skimp on decoys. Just to get you going.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you can get a bunch of hot buys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of areas that you need a lot of decoys. Spray paint them black, whatever. You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
Great answer.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. It's 10 Minute Tuesday. Please send in your submissions for anything you want us to talk about on 10 Minute Tuesday. We appreciate you guys for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.